Hey, what's up, everybody? Marcos Villegas for Fight Up TV, being joined with Robert Garcia, the trainer of Bam Rodriguez, who's highlighting this card with Jaron Ennis coming up this Saturday on DAZN, a mandatory title defense for Bam, but returning from a spectacular win against Gallo Estrada, where Bam stamped himself as one of the, if not the premier fighters in these lighter divisions. Robert, thank you for joining us. Let me know how the mood has been for this fight. I know it's a mandatory defense, but let me know how this preparation compares to the one you guys had for Gallo.
Thanks for having me, Marcos. Look, it is different because for Bam's just for him to motivate himself and to push himself to the next level is the challenges. And when he fought Gallo last June, if it wouldn't have been Gallo, then I don't think Bam would have fought. He would have rather wait because he had just had his newborn daughter, and he told me, if it's not Gallo, then I don't even want to fight. For this one, we were kind of in the same situation. He was we were hoping that he was going to unify against one of the other champions, but none of the champions were available. So he was thinking maybe I'll just wait. I'll wait till next year and hopefully we get one of the champions. But it happened to be that Pedro Guevara is our mandatory. It was something that the WBC push for us to. If we're not unifying, when we have to do our mandatory. So being that it's a mandatory, it obviously made Bam want to take the fight and need to take the fight, or else anything could happen in boxing. With these organizations, you don't know when they want to help somebody or when they don't want to help you either. We don't know when they're gonna put you a champion in recess or they're gonna give you your title back even after you lost. They've done it before. You lose a fight and then whatever it is, and you get your title back or you get a first opportunity. With the organizations, we don't know. So I told Bam, look, Bam, if we reject this fight and we say no, we might have, you don't know what the WBC is gonna do. Pedro Guevara is the interim WBC champion, and he's Mexican. So the WBC is gonna favor him because he's Mexican. So they're gonna, they might put you a champion in recess or something, and then they have him fight somebody else. So he, we were in that situation where Bam, had to take the fight, and he trained hard. He trained hard. He knows everything that's in line. His next fight could be a unification. So he knows that it's an important fight. So he trained very hard. We had great sparring partners, and he's in great shape.
Rumors have been flying, Robert. So I just want to get, maybe your insight to your information as to like these potential fights for Bam. I saw something online. I don't know how much truth there was, but on that February card, they're mentioning that Bam could be on that card against Roman Gonzalez. Is there any truth to that?
You know what? There's no truth to that. I don't even remember who I talked to, but I guess I just want to get news out there. When Bam, before Bam and Chocolatito sparred each other, there was always, that talk about, oh man, that would be such a good fight. But Bam and Chocolatito always said that Mr. Honda told them both he doesn't want to see that fight, and he doesn't want to see that. So we thought we're never gonna fight him. But after the sparring matches, after the sparring sessions that we had, it looked like Chocolatito. After Bam beat Gallo, Chocolatito said, there was a few interviews where Chocolatito said that he would like to fight Bam and that he got the best out of Bam in sparring, which the sparring was great. I'm not saying Bam got the best. I'm not saying Chocolatito did. I think the sparring was so close and so great.
No, wait. Are you just saying that to be nice, Robert, and you really know what happened?
No, it was really good sparring.
Yeah,
I'm telling you, the sparring was very good, very close. Chocolatito's got a lot of experience, man.
Yeah.
Chocolatito's the real deal. So we did see an interview where Chocolatito said that he would like to fight Bam. So I brought that up and I said, look, Chocolatito already said that he is willing to fight him, so we would be too. But no date. There's Matchroom has not one single time brought it up. Mr. Honda has not brought it up at all. It was just me saying, well, Chocolatito already said he would like to. He thought he got the best out of Bam. So if they were to put it together, we would be down to do it. But there's never been no talk about it being in Saudi or already a date in February. Not whatsoever. But if it does come to happen, why not? It would be nice.
Yeah, part of me is bummed because I was hoping that there was some truth to it, that maybe Mr. Honda was like, hey, you know what? Fans want to see this fight. Bam wants this. Roman wants this. It's a great fight. It's a big fight. It makes sense. Let's go ahead and make it happen, because for the last 6 months, year on this topic, the language has been like, no, I don't think it'll happen. And now it seems like everyone is okay with it happening. We don't know how Mr. Honda thinks, but everyone else is okay with it happening. Do you think because of that, there's a strong possibility that if it is brought up to his promoter, Mr. Honda, that he'll go through with it and be like, hey, you know what? Yeah, let's go ahead and do this fight.
Well, look, if there's no unification, because Bam wants the fights. I mean, and against Chocolatito, it would be a big fight. It would be a huge fight.
Yeah, it's big.
So if it's not a unification and that fight is brought up, then we'll definitely consider it. We'll definitely look into it. Not sure, what the plan will be after, especially after Puma just got stripped, after the Japanese lost his title to the kid from Africa. I don't know what the plan's going to be now. For us, it was, okay, we could fight the Japanese and then we fight Puma for undisputed because he had 2 belts. But now he doesn't. Now he only has 1. And if he beats Ioka again, then it could be a good unification, but it won't be for undisputed. I don't know. If that doesn't happen, a fight against Chocolatito would be beautiful, man. Chocolatito's a great fighter, man. He's a legend. It would be a very, very interesting fight. But then, I don't know. Maybe knowing that there's not an undisputed, the chance to become undisputed soon, then Bam might even consider moving up to 118. It's a possibility. I think he could compete at 118. I think that there's a couple of great fights. One in particular that would be huge. So that's also a possibility. I don't know. We'll see after our next our Saturday fight, and we'll see what Matchroom has planned for next year. If the unifications are there, then we're definitely going to do that.
What's that fight at 118 that you think is huge?
Look. Against somebody like Nakatani.
Yes, that's the one I want to see.
There's no other. I know. Chocolatito also. There's also word of Chocolatito fighting at 118. Gallo wants to fight at 118. So those are also. If they win a title thing and we move up to 118, we would love to get that. Those would be huge fights. Chocolatito or Gallo rematch at 118. Those are way bigger fights than staying at 115 and trying to unify, trying to become undisputed. But it's going to take us 3 fights to get there. Where if at 118 Gallo has already won a title or Chocolatito has won a title, those are huge fights. And then Nakatani is probably the biggest fight out there. I think that's the direction we would take at 118. Nakatani is there. I know he also has plans of maybe moving up to challenging Inoue, which I don't blame him. But the possibility is there. Those are the fights that Bam would love.
My last thing on Roman Chocolatito, just because you were there for the sparring, you're familiar with Roman, you know what you have in Bam. In your opinion, does Bam beat Roman?
I think he beats. I think he brings the best out of Bam. I think because that's the way Bam is. Gallo Estrada, like honestly, not even myself, my son, we didn't expect that performance. To just totally, since the beginning, be so comfortable and be so good with his accuracy, with his footwork and everything. We didn't really expect that because Gallo is experienced fighter, a very talented fighter, one of the best talented fighters, active fighters in Mexico. So we didn't expect it. So I think it'll just bring the best out of Bam. I think it'll be a great fight. Chocolatito has so much experience, throws so many punches that it won't be easy, but it will probably bring the best out of Bam.
What's more likely then? They go 12 rounds, or you can see Bam stopping Roman?
Man, you know, I honestly with like I said with Gallo, I really didn't see uh Bam knocking him out quick because it was barely in the seventh round. I thought the fight was gonna go later rounds and maybe get the stoppage, but in the later rounds with Chocolatito, man, like I said, that'll bring the best out of Bam. But I would be kind of surprised if Bam does stop him because Chocolatito is a warrior, man. He's a talented fighter. He's got so much experience that it wouldn't be easy.
Yeah, man. It's just like even with those sparrings, like you could have like charged people to see those sparrings. Like you guys should have put them up on YouTube and charged like $20 for people to go and watch that sparring put live.
Look, the sparring sessions, we have all the sparring sessions, but you as a reporter, you guys know, and everybody sees, other gyms always posting sparring matches, always doing this and always doing that. I don't think you guys ever seen anything from my gym because that's part of the gym. That stays in the gym. It's the way I see it. If a young fighter is beating up on a 160 pounder, in another gym, that doesn't mean nothing. If you have two superstars that have sparred each other and one got the best out of the other one in sparring, that doesn't mean anything. In the gym, we get all that. In my gym, I get guys that have got dropped, guys that drop somebody else. I've had a good day, a bad day, and it stays in the gym. Those are things that stay in the gym. I have all the my cameras are recording every single day. I could easily post a lot of stuff that's going on, but there's no need to. That's why it's in the gym and it stays in the gym.
Yeah, and it should be that way for a multitude of reasons. And the most
Exactly.
important is your guys are there to work and practice and grow when they're sparring. Um, on on Bam, is it crazy to think? Is it too far of a stretch to see Bam go up against Inoue? I know there's been talk of that, and I know Bam did a few interviews where he mentioned that he could see himself facing Inoue. We don't know time wise but is this like the same case of like a Tank trying to fight Inoue or like a Canelo and Crawford where like it's just too big of a weight class, or is this like a realistic thing for you guys?
It is very realistic. Look, Canelo started at 154, Tank at 135. So that's a big difference. With Inoue and Bam, they both started at 108. They both, it's just that Inoue's a little bit older. He's matured a little bit more body wise and everything. That's why he's fighting at 122, not because he's a lot bigger than Bam. I think with Bam, I think we're maybe 2-3 years from maybe if Inoue is still if he's still fighting and if he's still around there, maybe even at 126, in the near future, because it would be just such a big fight that not only Bam and Inoue, but the whole boxing world is gonna want to see. They are not far. I think 2-3 years from now, I think it's a fight that we could get.
Do you think it would be like at a real weight? Would it have to be like at a catch weight? Like, because I can't see Inoue coming down, or could you see Inoue coming down?
Well, if Inoue stays at 122, then yeah, if he could still make 122, and if he's fighting at featherweight, maybe because he wants to get another title at featherweight, but then could come back down to 122, then 100%. I'm not a fan of catch weights and all that. I know we've done where my fighters are, if they're a 140 pounder, we do the fight at a catch weight of 143. It's acceptable unless it's a world title fight. It's acceptable. So everybody's done it, but for a big fight, a title fight, it has to be at the weight where the titles where the champion is. Not okay. You're at 122 champion, but we're gonna get him down to 120 to take advantage. I don't like that. That's not my style.
Mm. So you knowing Bam so well, and you knowing like the skills that he possesses, like in your opinion, how big of a problem is Bam for a Inoue?
Well, when the time comes, 2-3 years from now, Bam will be 26, 27. He'll be in his prime. He'll be solid. He'll be strong. He'll be a grown man. So I think I think it's a problem for anybody, not just Inoue. Just like Inoue is a problem for everybody, I think Bam could be the same problem in the next 2 or 3 years for anybody.
Oh man, that's it's like power versus skill and technique and footwork. Like, oh man, that is a dream fight, and that's a fight that fills up a Tokyo Dome, especially in
I
Japan.
think we'll see it in the future. Honestly, I do believe so. I think 2 or 3 years from now, we'll get that fight.
Oh man, that I want to be there for that fight. Definitely, that is a dream fight. With Bam Robert, how many weight classes do you see him going up to and winning world titles? Like I see like there's a big opportunity here for him to really solidify himself. Like I've said it before, like I feel he's already accomplished so much at this point to get him a Hall of Fame nod. But how many more weight classes do you see him campaigning in and winning titles in?
Well, you know what? It could probably be a little, maybe pushing a little too much, but I think it's possible. He says he wants to be champion up to 130 pounds.
Oh wow.
122. He'll be very comfortable at 122, and eventually maybe 126. But he says his goal is to become champion up to 130. So that'll be, I think, 6 divisions,
Damn,
and
there's
I
only
think it's
been,
possible.
what was it? I think two people, 6 divisions, right? Oscar and
Oscar
Manny.
and Manny.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I
Well, he
believe if
wants
I'm
to
not
be
correct,
six.
yeah.
He says he's brought it up. He says he wants to be champion up to 130. You know what? It's not impossible either. He's got the skills. He's got the skills. He'll be developing. His body will start getting bigger. He's only 24. So 2-3 years from now, he could already be at featherweight.
Wow, man, that'd be an amazing feather in his cap, and also for you, Robert, as a trainer, to have trained someone that potentially could win world titles in 6 divisions, given the rare company that accomplishment would have. How's Virgil doing? What's an update with him? I read something that him too on February. Do you want to clear that up?
See, those are just things that people bring up, and we're like, oh yeah, well, we would love to be in, yeah, it's Saudi, money's right and all that, definitely. But no, there's nothing really for sure right now. Just like Virgil was ready and already had a deal to fight on the Riyadh season card here in LA on the Crawford card, and it didn't happen. He fought a week after. So nothing's for sure. If they do come up with a good, I'm pretty sure Rick Marigan and Golden Boy Promotions wouldn't say no to a big offer, a big deal to fight in Saudi in February. But as of right now, there's just rumors, talk, and if it does happen, then hell yeah, we would love to.
Yeah, because I read like Jaron Ennis, and like that. To me, that came out of nowhere. I was like, wait
Yeah.
a second.
Well,
Like, what?
look, Jaron Ennis is the 147, so we don't know if he decides to move up in weight. Yeah, it's a possibility. It's just one division. We're just one division away. It's not like we're talking like Crawford, Canelo, or Bam Inoue right now, where there's 2 or 3 division difference. With these guys, Boots Ennis is a big boy. He's actually physically very big, and he could compete at 154. So it is a possibility if he decides to vacate and move up in weight and challenge the big names out there. Then yes, there is. But it's just talk. Where yeah, just like we're talking, me and you are talking right now. Yeah, I would like that fight, but that doesn't mean it's already in the works and we're already finalizing something. No, but yeah, I would like it. We would definitely like it.
Have you got any indication from the team as to when you guys are going to get back into the ring?
No, all we know is it could happen early next year, February or March. we don't know if it'll be Saudi or a Golden Boy promotion in Dallas, because I think that's probably what Golden Boy would like, to bring him to Dallas. But we don't know. You know, obviously the Saudis bring a lot of money, and we would definitely have to talk about it. Rick Morrigan and Golden Boy would make that happen, work that out. But yeah, it's one of the two. But it will be early next year.
How's everyone been with that fight with Bohachuk and learning from it and growing from it? You know, how did you take that fight? You know, and what were your like takeaways from it coming in to like a potentially bigger fight coming up in 2025?
Great experience, man. That guy was tough. That guy put us to work, put not only Virgil, but the corner, all of us, you know, Virgil Sr., it put us to work, and it put us to just work even harder and have, you know, it showed, you know, that we could have different plans, change the plan a little to win, especially the last 3 rounds, stuff like that. It gave us so much positive things about it, because that was a tough fight. The kid is tough. The kid is, you know, that's why he's getting a huge fight in December, and he deserves it, because he fought his, you know, his heart out, and he showed that he's capable of competing with the best at the division. So it was a great learning experience for us.
You as the trainer, Robert, what are some things that you want to tighten up there that so you guys aren't put in some of those situations you guys found yourselves in that Bohachuk fight?
Look, I think, you know, something people don't know, and people might not even believe, but I think early in camp, what we need to do and what we didn't do, and we did it too late, was blood work for Virgil to know exactly what his body needed, what his body was missing. And we did it, but it was a little bit too late. We got to do that since the beginning, since we start camp right 2 months before, just so we know exactly.
Was that like affecting his like conditioning, like his nutrition, his energy?
100%,
everything,
100%. But that's all. That's all a learning experience for us too. Just like we used to do with Mikey and Nonito and all those guys. I think with Virgil is going to be something that we're going to have to do. Maybe work a little more on his boxing skills instead of just himself. You know, he's a warrior. He loves to fight. He's not afraid of anything. He's not afraid of getting hit. So he loves to fight. But we also have to change that to where in his mind he knows that he could also box and use that jab and use that counter punching and doing 2-3 punch combinations without thinking of trying to hurt or knock everybody out. You know, he did that the last couple of rounds, and I think clearly won those rounds, to where that was the difference in the decision. But we need to do that the whole fight. He needs to know that, and he learned from it, that you can't knock everybody out, because every single one of his fights was a knockout win. So we got to, you know, I think that was good for him, that he went all 12 rounds, and 12 tough rounds where, look, you got skills too. You could box. You could do counter punching, score points, and win rounds by scoring points, not try to knock everybody out. And that was a great learning experience. I think those are things that we have to obviously work on and make it just so it could be better for the next one.
Yeah, doing reading and research and prep work for this chat that I'm having with you, Robert. I also saw like a headline that you had spoken to Terrence Crawford about potentially maybe him fighting Virgil, and that you got the sense that he's just kind of waiting for a Canelo fight. Can you speak a little bit about that interaction with him about that fight?
No, we did talk, but we
Yeah.
never brought up him versus Virgil.
Oh, you didn't? Okay.
No.
Okay.
Terrence Crawford, no.
So
no.
I'm glad you're clearing that up, because I think the
No.
article had mentioned something like that.
I like, you know, Terrence Crawford is, you know, I seen him, you know, man, Top Rank asked us before signing him, what do you guys think about this kid, you know, trying to, you know, get to Top Rank, and we're like, Mikey told him, you guys got to sign him. He's the real deal. He could fight. Mikey fought him in the amateurs and all that. So you know, we've known Crawford since he first came to Top Rank. We've seen this, you know, we've always have a good relationship with him, his trainers, everybody around him through the Top Rank years. So we talked to him on a Top Rank card about a year ago. and it was me and my son. And he clearly told us, look, I already, I'm set. I already accomplished, he's not one of those guys that likes to go out and spend and show off and that. He already bought so many properties in his hometown. He's set for life already. He told us, I don't need to go please anybody and fighting any of the tough young lions. I don't need to prove it to nobody. If I get the big fight against Canelo, then I'll take it. If not, I could just retire. And I believe he could do that. I believe so. That's why I think I have a feeling that if he doesn't get Canelo, he doesn't need to fight anymore, and he probably won't fight. He doesn't need to go prove the world that he could beat Boots Ennis or that he could go in there against Virgil. He doesn't need to prove nobody that he already accomplished. He's already undisputed, two-time undisputed, two division undisputed fighter. Who, very few can say they've done that. Inoue is another one. I don't even know if there's many more.
Usyk, but that's it.
Exactly. So exactly. So there's not many. So they're already accomplished and they're already set as one of the best of all times. So he doesn't need to prove anybody that he could beat Boots or that he could beat Virgil. I don't blame him. He wants that big fight against Canelo, and if he doesn't get it, he's set for life anyways. He's been smart with his money.
One fight I do want to see with Virgil, and you could call it maybe like a hometown shootout. And I know that Virgil's with Golden Boy, a different broadcaster, but Errol Spence, man, I that fight does big business over there in Dallas. I'm not sure what's going on with Errol and Fundora, but do you remain hopeful that we could see that fight at some point?
Oh, I would love that. I would love that because that's the biggest fight in Dallas. And I think, even though Golden Boy and PBC have had their differences, but I think the fight's so big that they need to plan it out. They need to sit down and talk about it because it just benefits both parties. PBC, they're very smart when it comes to getting the big fights out there. They're very smart when it comes to making those events. Golden Boy, we all know what Golden Boy is about. So it would be so huge for both promotions, especially the fighters. That's probably the biggest fight out there for them against each other. It would be so big, and I would love that. And there's a possibility, man. There's a possibility. Why not?
What happens, Robert?
Man, I Spence is talent-wise, great fighter, great heart. But honestly, I think at this point, I think Virgil's gonna be too. I think Virgil will be too strong for him. Going based on Spence's last performance too, he got totally dominated, and if he comes back and goes in there against Fundora, I don't know what's gonna happen if they're gonna fight or not. But if he does go and fight Fundora and he dominates and beats the crap out of him, then we're like, oh shit, wow, we might have been wrong because we're going based on his last performance. Crawford just totally dominated.
Yeah, it's a lot of questions. I guess we will see with that next opponent that he has, Errol Spence, with Fundora, and what is there with him. Just on the last few things, Robert. Just I don't think we had a chance to catch up with you and speak to you about what happened with AJ. I know you trained him for that Usyk rematch. He was knocked out against Dubois, but what'd you see there, and what do you see for the future of AJ after suffering a knockout defeat like that?
Look, honestly, after the last year that where AJ had 4 good wins, 4 great performances, 3 times last year, I thought nobody at the heavyweight division would beat him because he was on a roll. He was just performing. He was looking so good. Activities, what he needed, and I was 100% sure he was gonna beat Dubois, and I even, and the way he was performing, I even thought, man, I think he'll beat Fury, and he could beat Usyk. The way he was performing, the activity he was having, that mentally, physically, he was just on a roll. But now things go back to like, man, wow, what do you expect from him now? I think he still has two fights out there that I would love to fight. One of them is against Wilder. We all wanted that fight, and we all would have loved to see the fight a few years back, but I would still like to see it. And against Fury, I think against Fury, it would be huge in the UK, and for us here in the States, I would stay up or wake up to see it, because I think those two fights are still big for him. Maybe not in the direction where he could still come back and take his time and become champion again. That could take a few more challenges and maybe another loss, just like the one that just happened. I think he just focus on those two big wins and challenge Wilder to a huge fight. They'll both make huge money, and then go against Fury and just kill it with the money. They'll make a lot of money.
Yeah, that's
those are the two fights
tons of money.
And I wouldn't mind watching them, because I think Wilder and Anthony, we could probably say they're both in the same situation where they both have, they've both been hurt, knocked out. So let's see how they compete against each other. And then Fury, that's the second one. I would like to see those fights.
Yeah, like looking at the fight, like there's just some times where like everything goes wrong and you can't do anything about it. Like you're in a big deep hole, and he couldn't recover. And then when he started building a little bit momentum again, he gets cracked again. Like I can't imagine like the corner response. Like it must have been like kind of like a chaotic thing. But just give me your perspective on that, Robert. Like how should a situation like that be handled, or how would have you handled that situation if you were still in the corner?
Look, I think it's one of those situations where there's nothing nobody could have done. Nothing the fighter could have done. Nothing the corner. You can't blame the corner. You can't blame the promotion, the training camp. It's just one of those performances where there's nothing nobody could do. Coming off 4 wins in a row, beautiful performances, activity, and then something like that happens, there's nothing to be blamed. It's not, you can't say inactivity. You can't say anything unless they know something happened in camp where the world doesn't know and they're keeping it to themselves. Well, then they're the only ones that are going to know. But just us as fans, as people in boxing, to me, nobody could do or could have done. I think it's just one of those nights where it just wasn't his night, and things didn't go his way. And let's just congratulate the other guy and give him the best. He's the champion. He's up there for bigger fights, and good for him. But there was nothing anybody could do. Not the corner, not the fighter, not nobody. I think it was just one of those nights where it just wasn't their night, and nobody could do anything about it.
I don't want to keep you on here much longer, Robert. So I have one more thing for you. I just want to pick your brain on this Mike Tyson versus Jake Paul fight. And you as a trainer, how you have a better perspective on game plans, on what a fighter brings into a fight, and really what a fight is. What's going to happen in this fight? Because I've heard so many just takes all over the place saying like Jake's going to knock him out, and then vice versa. Like Mike's going to knock him out. The longer it goes, the better it is for so-and-so. How do you see this fight, Robert? How is it going to play out? And what do you make of it?
Well, look, I think it's going to be a huge event. It's going to be a huge event. I think it's going to do really good numbers on pay-per-view. Well, it's actually
it's free.
On
Netflix.
Exactly on Netflix. So I think people are going to tune in. I think the stadium's going to be full. So it's a great event. But honestly, to me, it's just a show. It's like people paying their tickets and paying pay-per-view to watch Royal Rumble. That's just the way I see it. Look, Tyson's almost 60. If we go back to his last fights when he was still a professional fighter, his last couple of performances were not very good performances. And I don't even know how long ago that was. 10, 12 years maybe. I don't even know. His last couple of fights, we would have to go to BoxRec and,
Yeah, let me
and
let me
see,
let me pull it up. Let's see
but it's
exactly.
been a while.
I want to say like the early 2000s.
Exactly. We're looking maybe 20 years ago.
Let's see here. I'll get the last few fights were in 2003, 4, and 5.
Okay, exactly. So we're pushing 20
Yeah,
years.
20 years. Yeah.
And that's 20 years. He was 20 years younger and he didn't perform very well. His performances weren't very well. He got beat by guys that were nobodies and shouldn't have beat him. So what makes us think that 20 years later he's gonna be a monster like he was in his early 20s, knocking everybody out? There's no way. There's no way. I think I like Mike. I fought in his cards a few times. I think 2 or 3 cards, and it was great being around him. But man, I'm like 10 years younger than him, and I don't think I would be able to compete against. I know Paul is not the best fighter out there, or he's not.
Yeah,
So he's
limited
also,
experience.
yeah.
Yeah.
So, but he is young and strong. So at the end, I think it's just going to be a show where they're going to go out there and perform for a huge crowd and the millions and millions watching on Netflix. I think it's going to be just the performance, just the entertainment. I don't really think it's going to be a real fight. I wouldn't be surprised that they've been staging it together, just to put up a good show. Honestly, a 60-year-old, there's no way he could be fighting anymore. I'm telling you, 20 years ago, when he had his last fights, he wasn't performing very well then. What makes us think that 20 years later he's going to have a better performance, or he's going to have a performance like he was when he was in his 20s?
I guess like the thing there is because Jake's a relative novice to boxing, and I think people are thinking like, hey, this is Mike Tyson. He's been boxing his whole entire life. He's just not a normal 58-year-old. He's a special 58. He's different than the other 58-year-olds. The last thing to go is power, and he's looked really good in these clips that him and his team have released.
We've seen, what is it, like 10-second clips?
Yeah.
That's all we've seen. That's the thing. I could do clips like that, but I can't go a full round.
You can go full round, Robert. Come on, you got it in you.
You know what I mean?
Yeah, I know.
We see, 10-second clips. We haven't seen a full 10-round sparring match. You know what I mean? I know it's not easy. Man, I hate to see him embarrass himself that bad. I think he could, especially like you just said, against Paul, who doesn't have too much boxing experience, is not the most talented fighter out there. So I think it's going to be pretty close. I think they're both going to go out there and bang at each other and put up a good, entertaining, show for the fans. I don't see, if he was fighting a young prospect who has talent and power, then he could get hurt. But Tyson's, he's fighting somebody that doesn't have that much skills, doesn't have that much experience. So it's going to be pretty even because they're both going to go out there and put up a show. I don't know how long, if he could go eight rounds. We've seen 10-second clips. That doesn't show me a lot. We haven't seen a full round of sparring against a young fighter. So I don't see it as a real fight. That's probably what I'm trying to tell you. I don't see it as a real fight. I think it's just going to be an event that is going to make them a lot of money, and it's going to make the boxing world tune in because we do want to see. I'll be watching too.
With that being said, then Robert, do you still give the advantage to Mike? Do you see Mike knocking out Jake Paul?
He's got the power, so I think he could knock him out. I think if he lands, especially early.
Yeah, that's the reason why everyone's gonna want to watch. Is early what you just said.
If it has to go 6, 7, 8, then I think Tyson's gonna be dead tired. I think if he does, it'll be early in the fight. Lands a hard punch and knocks him out because he's got the power. He knocked everybody out early in his career, so he does have that power. But but I don't know. I think it's gonna be just a good show. The undercard's gonna be decent undercard. It's gonna be a good card. So the fans are gonna enjoy just a show that's gonna make history because they're gonna probably break records in attendance and stuff like that. Netflix is gonna first time doing something like that. It's gonna be part of boxing history. But I don't see it as a real fight, honestly.
Yeah, there's just, it's one of those things where it's like you run a lot of like what ifs. What if he does this, and what if he gets caught with that, and he still hits really hard, and this is Mike Tyson. He's different than other people. Even at 58, like look at the shape that he's in, and Jake hasn't been fighting a very long time, and you start thinking all these things, and you think, you know what, maybe, but yeah, it's always good to get an educated perspective from someone like you who's day in day out in the game, and has been training so many fighters. So then it wouldn't surprise you though if Jake were to get a knockout. What's more likely? Who
I think
knocks out who?
I think what I think we're gonna get, if it's not staged and they haven't been, which I hope it's
I
not.
don't think so. I don't think I've
Okay,
heard it's
good.
like a real sanctioned fight, like 14
Yeah.
ounce gloves though, as opposed to I think like the 10 ounce. No, the
Yes.
heavyweights wear what, 10 ounce, right?
10 ounce, yeah.
Yeah, yeah,
So
yeah.
so what I think we're gonna get, if it's something where they both want to fight, we're gonna get the first 3 rounds full of action. But after that, I think there's gonna be a lot of holding. I think they're both gonna be tired. They're both gonna be,
I'd be
I think the
holding for
first
my life.
I
That would
think
be the
I think the
strategy. You
first
tell
3 or 4
Jake,
rounds are gonna be great.
amárralo, güey.
And that's enough. And that's enough. If we get 2 rounds, that's all we need, man.
Yeah.
Tyson swinging hard and landing a good punch and knocking him out, or vice versa too, because Paul's also a big, strong fighter, young kid. So if we get 2, 3 good, solid rounds from back and forth, and then somebody ends up knocking the other one out, I'll be happy.
Yeah.
I'll be happy to see that.
What would you tell Jake if you were forming a game plan? Would one of the things would be like, you gotta hold this guy. You gotta just hold him and don't let him blitz you.
I would probably try to do
Yeah.
that, hold and frustrate, and take it to the later rounds. But if I just want to please myself and make my fighter be become, just go out there and knock out or get knocked out by Mike Tyson. Mike Tyson is the biggest name in boxing in the world. Go out there. I'll just go out there and swing, and either knock him out or he knocks you out. I would love to see that. But if I want a game plan and I need that win against Mike Tyson, which won't mean much for Paul, anyways. Even if he does get that win, it doesn't mean nothing in his record or anything. He competed against Mike. I would say frustrated, hold as much as you can, and take it to the later rounds.
Yeah, yeah, it's gonna be interesting. That's for sure. Hey, Robert, man, appreciate this chat with you. Thank you so much. We'll see you in the corner this weekend with Jesse Bam Rodriguez, who's defending his title on DAZN on this Boots and its card in Philadelphia. Robert, thank you. Appreciate the time, man.
No, thanks for having me, man. Anytime.